So we're going to look at Varispeed, which is a technique that came from originally on the original tape recorders, the reel-to-reel machines that you found in studios of old. The tape machine had this little control called pitch, and when you moved it, it would slow the motor speed down a little bit, so the tape would play slower, or it would speed it up. On playback, of course, you can, if you wanted a track a little bit faster, then that would be a way of doing it. You could turn the speed up or turn the pitch up of the tape. But of course, because it's analog tape, a bit like if you play a record faster or slower, the speed goes up and the pitch goes up. It was only when we had digital that we could actually dislocate the link between speed and pitch and get time stretch and things like that. But that was also a really useful thing, this Varispeed, because let's take the example of vocalists. They're singing pretty well, but there's a particular note that they just can't hit, a high note. What you can do is slow the tape down, so the whole pitch of the song goes down. It's playing back slower. They can sing it, and of course they'll have to re-pitch or transpose their part, their voice, but they'll sing it lower, meaning they'll be able to hit that. The highest note in the phrase will be a lot lower than it was originally. They'll record it like that. Then when you bring the pitch back up to 0 or back up to no pitch, of course it brings their voice up. So it's a useful technique. You could do the same if they were struggling to hit a low note. What you could do is speed the tape up before they recorded, speed it up so the pitch of the track goes higher, so it's easier for them because it raises that pitch of the low note. They record it at a higher register, then when you bring back the pitch back to 0, it deepens their voice. Oh, we've got that option in Logic, it's great. I'll show you how to do it. So first we need the customized view up here. If you click on the upside down triangle, I'm going to open up custom. And over here I'm going to right click and customize control bar and display. And we get all these extra functions that we can add to our transport bar. There's loads of stuff in here, things that aren't there by default. And we can see in one of these is Varispeed, so let's turn that on. So I clicked Varispeed, all good, I can come out of that now. So now I've got this new window here. There's a few different modes. There's speed only, or normal Varispeed, that's the classic, so speed and pitch. Also you can have one where it affects the MIDI as well. Let's choose speed and pitch, Varispeed. That's the traditional tape recorder style one. So I'm going to record a little bit of my voice, just so we can hear the normal pitch of it. When I hit record, we're not using Varispeed at the moment, so it's just recording at its normal pitch. If we listen back to that, we're not using Varispeed, so it's my normal pitch. Let's do another recording, but let's turn Varispeed on and let's push it up a few percent. Let's put it up to 10%. Notice it kind of goes orange, and that goes orange, and also this little button, plus and minus, appears. That's orange as well. That means we've got Varispeed active. So let's record again. I've got record enabled, just going to hit record. So recording again, you can hear my pitch. The pitch of my voice as I record it is normal. There's nothing different about that, of course, because I'm just speaking in my normal register pitch of my voice. And when we play it back, so recording again, you can hear my pitch. The pitch of my voice as I record it is it's normal register. That's because we're still at plus 10%. Let's bring it back though. Let's bring it back to 0, back to the original speed and tempo of speed and pitch of our track. So I'm just going to take that off, press the button, it goes back to normal. So recording again, you can hear my pitch. The pitch of my voice as I record it is normal. Different vibe. So it's pitched my voice down, and that's how you could get the low notes. You would play your song back at a plus 10%, and the vocalist would have to sing a bit higher. Then when you go back to the original speed and pitch, it will bring their voice down to the low notes so they can hit those low notes. Let's do the same again, but let's put the Varispeed at minus 50. That might be a bit hectic. Let's do minus 15%. And going to record that. So this time we're going to record at minus, which means it's going to be bringing the tempo slower and the pitch down. Let's record a bit of my voice again. So the voice goes in normally as before, but remember Varispeed is at minus 15. So it will be playing back our track slower and at a lower pitch, which might make it easier for the vocalist to hit the high notes this time. Stop recording. Again, we'll listen back again. So it's the same, it's my normal pitch, but let's bring it back to 0, bring it back again to its original.
The voice goes in normally as before, but remember Varispeed is at minus 15.
So it pushes your voice higher. It's a useful technique. You can try it.
Do people actually use that to try singing higher?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's a technique often used. If either the vocalist can't hit the high note or the low note, you can put Varispeed on, slow it all down, then they can do it.
I've heard low notes used for an effect, but I've not really heard people pitch it up very high.
Yeah, I mean that's doing it a bit too much. Minus 15 is quite a big deviation, and you do end up with that Mickey Mouse squeak.
That sort of weird, nasally.
But remember, this is just as a little sticky plaster to fix certain notes. Yeah. So what you might do is they'll record a whole part, but you might only use a single note, and the rest is the normal pitched vocal. So it probably wouldn't stick out that much. This might just be a beep.
I did hear there's a guy did a tutorial on how he mixes vocals, and he records a bunch of different harmonies, but he basically kind of doubles them up with vocoders that are really, really heavily auto-tuned.
Yeah.
And sort of mixes them in a way that makes it's not really noticeable at all, but it kind of gives the voice this weird ethereal kind of quality.
Yeah, definitely. Gives it thickness. Yeah. I do it a lot. Also, if you're on your own, you've sung your lead line and you want to do backing vocals, to get a real richness of backing vocals, sometimes it just sounds like loads of you singing, which doesn't give you the richness of other voices. If you want that sound of more of a choral type sound, you can fake it with Varispeed and just do, each time you do a double track, change the amount, and of course it changes the sort of tone and register of your voice. Although they're all it's all you singing the same line at the same pitch, because if you use Varispeed, it just offsets them a little bit and it gives you a richer sound. something to try. Something that's been around, as I mentioned, on tape machines for a long time. Listen to some of Jimi Hendrix's solos, guitar solos, as well as being sometimes playing around with putting the tape on the wrong way around and recording it, flipping the tape back, and you get a reversed or backwards guitar solo. He would also record it with the pitch all the way down, and then when he brought the pitch back up, you get like this really high-pitched guitar sound, sort of Mickey Mouse-sized. Other techniques, the way people have used this in My Bloody Valentine's record, the Loveless record, which is probably their most famous one and that really defined the shoegaze movement in the late 80s, early 90s. The guitarist and kind of visionary of the band would track their guitars, but he'd ask the engineer as he was recording it to always have a hand on the pitch control and just keep wiggling it around, and it creates this kind of like weird pitch shifting guitar sound. It makes your head swim a little bit. It's quite a cool technique. I'll find some examples. Great, but that's it. Varispeed. You have to show it in the custom view of your transport bar, and to add and remove buttons, you just need to go into that customize and check Varispeed. That then gives you the Varispeed window that you can choose, and it gives you the button that you can just turn it on and off. It does seem to use a fair amount of processing power. Just beware. So if you've got a mix where your computer is already using up like 60% of its computing power, you might find it starts to glitch out. The only way around that would be to export your mix as a stereo, create a new track, a new project, do all your backing vocals and everything in the new project, and then re-import them back into the original. I sometimes have to do that. It's a bit of a workaround if you run out of power. Cool.